One of the biggest questions that we get around here is how do I start recording my podcast? So, in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need from gear to actually recording and preparing the episode to editing. Hey everybody, my name is Joe Casabona. I am the evangelist here at RSS.com, and today I am excited to tell you everything you need to do to successfully record a podcast episode. Let's get started. So, first things first, you need the right gear. You need a microphone and headphones to record, but there are so many options out there. Which one do you pick? We have a great guide on our blog. What are the best podcast microphones? Any links I reference will be in the description for this video. But I think that you can't go wrong with the Samsung Q2U. The Samsung Q2U is a great USB XLR microphone. So you don't need any additional equipment. You can plug it using the USB port right here. You can plug it right into your computer. If you do ever want to upgrade and get an interface, which is an additional piece of equipment, you can use the same exact microphone for that. I am a big fan of this microphone. It is affordable, it's easy to use, and it gives you a great sound. It's a dynamic microphone, which means that it's going to be more forgiving of the environment. So it's not going to pick up as many environment sounds as, say, a condenser mic like the Blue Yeti. And again, very affordable, under $100. Now, next, you're going to want headphones. Headphones make editing so much easier for you because your sound from your computer is not going to bleed into your microphone, giving you another weird echo from your guest. They are a requirement when I record my podcast. So, again, we have another blog post with lots of great headphone options. If you're looking for affordable, I think the Audio Technica M30X or Audio Technica M50X are really good. I used the M50X for a long time. They are now attached to my electronic drum set. The headphones that you see right here are the Bayer Dynamic DT770 Pro. I love the sound I get from these. They are a little bit more expensive, but they give you a better sound, and I'm kind of an audiophile, and so I really like that. So I think that you can't really go wrong with any of the headphones listed here, but if you're looking for affordable, check out the Audio Technica ATH M30X or M50X. Once you have your microphone and headphones, now it's time to consider how your recording space is set up. Because if you're recording in a big open room or a place with windows or open windows or in a common space, you're not going to get a good recording. It doesn't matter how good your microphone and headphones are. So you want to consider recording from a quiet place with stuff that will both absorb sound and diffuse and deflect sound. So again, don't record in just a big open room. Try to find a place with carpets. If you're in a pinch, you can record in a closet. As a matter of fact, Mike Rowe, for his podcast, The Way I Heard It, if he was recording at his house, he was recording in his closet because there's lots of clothes to absorb the sound. All right. The same thing goes with if you have pillows or some of the foam that you can put on your wall. I have some of those sound panels up on my wall. And so anything that you can do, like carpet would be really good. Anything that you can do to diffuse and deflect and absorb sound is going to be really good for you. If you do have windows, consider putting some foam in the windows or getting blackout curtains. Blackout curtains are shockingly good at preventing sound from coming inside. It blocks out probably about 60% of outside sounds from coming into your room and into your microphone, which is really good. Okay, so that is the gear and room acoustic setup. Now let's talking about preparing your episodes. So this is not a podcast, it's a video, but same idea. If you are preparing, there's a few ways that you can do it. You can create an outline of everything you want to talk about. So you can see this is everything I have and will talk about in this video. or you can fully script it. If you are not recording video and you feel more comfortable with a script, go ahead and do that, because this will allow you to best deliver the content that you're creating. If you are more comfortable, like me, speaking off the cuff and adding things as you think of them, and you are confident in what you're saying, outlines might be better for you. Either way, you will require a little bit of research. So make sure, no matter if you're doing solo episodes or interviews, you want to do some research. This is how you're going to best prepare. And in the case of an interview, you probably want to have an outline and not a script. But again, when I was preparing this video, I looked through our blog, I thought about the things I wanted to talk about, and I put it in an outline form. Okay, so we've got the gear, we've got the preparation. Now let's get into the actual recording side of the house. So there are going to be a few recommendations here based on your goal for your podcast. If you are doing interviews, I highly recommend Riverside. Riverside.fm. It is a great and very reliable service for you to record interviews with multiple people. It records the tracks separately and locally, so you get the best possible audio, and it does video as well. So if you want to do that video interview or video podcast, you're getting that. It'll create the transcripts for you. It creates social media clips, or at least helps you create social media clips. And there are some nifty cleanup features as well. You can live stream. It's really a very well built product. I highly, highly recommend it. Now, if you are doing solo episodes, or spoiler alert for when we get into editing, you're going to be doing your own editing, you might consider Squadcast, which is owned by Descript. So I think that if you're going to record solo shows, just by yourself, and you want to include a video component, or you want to edit, Descript is going to be the best thing for you. You could also, again, if you are recording just by yourself, you can record directly into whatever your audio editor is going to be if you're not using video. But the thing I like about Descript is that you can edit by script. So you can highlight text and delete it, and the audio or video will also be deleted. I think it's the best implementation of basic editing as possible. So it also records. So again, if you are doing interviews, I think there's nothing better than Riverside. I've tried a bunch of them, and Riverside has always been the most reliable for me. If you're doing a solo show and you are editing it as well, you might consider Descript. It's a very good tool for recording and editing directly to your desktop. If you're not going to edit, you can just use QuickTime or a Windows Recorder, right? Some app that's already on your computer. But again, if you're going to do the editing, then you should go ahead and try out Descript. Now, let's get to the last question here, the editing portion. I feel very strongly that you should hire an editor. Editing is one of the most time-consuming aspects of podcasting, and it's very hard to get right. And I should also say here that if you have a podcast, you should edit the podcast. Every podcast needs editing, because if you do a interview show, then you at least need to sync up and normalize the tracks, and you should probably edit for content and strange sounds as well. So I think that you definitely need to edit your podcast. And if you're going to have it edited, I think you should hire an editor. A lot of people, especially just starting out, like to go the DIY route. And we have a great blog post that looks at both free and paid editing software. GarageBand if you have a Mac, Audacity if you have a PC or a Mac or a Linux machine. Actually, Audacity is available everywhere. The great benefit about Audacity is that there's because it's free open source software, there are lots of tutorials on how to use Audacity. There's also a bunch of paid podcast editing software. Alitu does a whole lot. Adobe Audition is an industry standard. Hindenburg is very popular. Logic Pro is also very popular if you have a Mac. But again, Descript is probably your best bet if you're going with DIY editing. They have a whole suite of tools. So, what should you look for, or how should you edit? The things that you should edit for are normalizing audio between you and your guest so that there's a consistent volume throughout the entire episode. You should also edit for content. So anything that takes away from the interview or the episode, things that you can tighten up because you want to keep your listeners' attention. And while Descript does have the ability to wholesale remove filler words, I don't think that's necessary. I think removing all filler words sounds unnatural. But when it gets to the point that it's very distracting, that's when you'll want to edit filler words. So you can definitely use Descript to edit filler words there. Okay, so that's it. We've covered a whole lot of stuff in this video as far as how to record your podcast. We talked about gear, we talked about how to prepare, we talked about recording, and we talked about editing. Do you have any questions about the process? Did I miss anything? Leave a comment below. Once again, I am Joe Casabona. I am the product evangelist here at RSS.com. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.